Hello everyone. So we're going to do another tag because it seems to be a good thing to do. We're going to do the unpopular opinion tag. So
I've got a lot of those.
you do. So we're going to go down these list of questions and obviously we're going to answer them and they'll probably not be well received by everybody. Here we go.
That's kind of the point, right?
So number one, popular book or series that you did not like. So this is a book that you started reading or that you read and everyone else loved, but you don't. You can go ahead and go first. Go ahead.
Oh, Twilight. Did not like this book. I thought Bella Swan was whiny and somewhat entitled and boring. And I thought the book was a little poorly written.
No, it's not written
Because,
well.
I mean, let's be honest, it started as fan fiction, right?
Right.
Just like 50 Shades of Grey started as fan fiction of this, I think.
Yeah,
Something like that.
She was inspired by that or something.
Yeah, and we'll call it inspired. I just think it's thinly veiled fanfic that a lot of people loved for some reason. And the movies were even worse, and people love those. So
we're going to move on quickly. I'm going to go with the Red Queen series. Here we go. I know, it's going to pop up. Watch. It is a love series, apparently. I've only gotten through like 3/4 of the first book. It is about red bloods and silver bloods. Apparently silver bloods, like your actual blood. Silver bloods are like godlike, very, very powerful, and obviously they rule the world. But then the red bloods were like peasants, pretty much. And that's where the main character comes from. It's a female. I don't know if I just was reading too many of this kind of trope or what, but I was kind of sick of it and I was bored most of the way through. And so it just wasn't something that kept me going, even though it's a 4-book series. And apparently it is very well liked, and that's fine. I can't really give it too much of an opinion in the aspect of was it any good or not, because I didn't get through the first book. So
alrighty. Number 2, popular book or series that everyone else seems to hate but you love.
I'm actually going to go with just a book because, like you said, many people liked Twilight, but shockingly, not a lot of people liked Midnight Sun. And I did. I liked it a lot. It was actually a 3.7 on Goodreads, so I mean, it's not horribly like hated or anything, but a lot of people said, and
that's above average.
Yeah.
3.7 out of 5.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so a lot of people say that it's a book that's not really needed, which it technically isn't, but I think it was very well done. So.
And what's different about this one?
It's Twilight's book, but from Edward's point of view.
No.
So I actually enjoyed that point of view, and I kind of wish it might have been written that way. Not only that, but I feel like Alice and Jasper, their like backstories would actually be really good books on their own. So I wouldn't mind that. Just saying. So what's yours?
Mine is a popular book that everyone else seems to hate but you love. I don't really browse Goodreads like Kendra. I'm usually on Reddit. I can go figure. On the Our Books subreddit and like book suggestions or suggest me a book. And a lot of times I see people suggest this book and a lot of people will chime in and say they didn't like it, or somebody will say they read it and they're like, oh, I didn't like that book, I didn't get it, or it was hard to understand or whatever. But I really thought it was a funny book. This is one of the few books that I actually laughed out loud reading. Confederacy of Dunces by John Kennedy Toole. He actually committed suicide before the book was ever published. And his mom, I believe her name is Thelma, worked her butt off to get it published in his memory. And it ended up winning the Pulitzer Prize in 1981.
But not a lot of people on Reddit, at least, seem to.
At least on Reddit, don't think it's a very good book or didn't find it interesting or anything. But I thought it was hilarious. It has some very memorable characters like Ignatius J. Riley, who's the main character pictured here. He's like an overweight 30-year-old man with a degree, I think, in medieval history or something. And it just goes from there. And he's in, I believe it's New Orleans is where he lives. He lives with his mom. And he's just a weird guy, and some funny things happen. And it's kind of a tragic comedy. But I really thought it was interesting. I thought it was really funny. So that's my unpopular opinion.
A love triangle where the main character ended up with the person you did not want them to end up with. And mine is from Hunger Games, Katniss Everdeen. She ended up, so spoils, so she ends up with, oh crap, I don't remember the guy's name. She ends up with the boy that she, goes with to fight in the very first
Peta.
book. Yeah, Peta. Thank you.
Like the bread.
Yes.
Because he's a baker. Whoa, clever.
Wow. So anyway, not that I thought that she should end up with the other guy either, because, he was part of the whole, horrible bomb. But I do think that she should have been by herself. I felt like she was a strong enough character and she was a strong enough person, at least in the beginning, that she should have just ended up,
I think she would have been a stronger female character if she had ended up on her own.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I feel like that's a trope that's a little overused now, is the pretending to be in love and then actually falling in love. At least you see that a lot in movies.
Yeah, that's true.
That's annoying,
So that's
like you're falling for
I almost feel like
the lowest common denominator, or the easiest. That's like working with somebody and then falling in love with them or dating them. I feel like that's just lazy.
Yeah. Well,
and I've done that myself as a teenager, and I can completely still consider that like a bad move, an easy move, not a good move.
Well, I just feel like her character could have easily stood on her own instead of being with someone else. And I don't even know if, I felt like she ended up with them only because they both knew where each character come from. But you can be friends and still have that relationship. So that's how I feel. But you didn't even have one for this.
I didn't have an answer. I don't really read romance books or anything that really entails any kind of romance. Like usually the books I read, like sci-fi or contemporary fiction or whatever, the books I've read anyway don't have love triangles. I don't know that a single book I've ever read had a love triangle.
Which goes with number 4. A popular book genre that you hardly reach for.
Which, I'll just continue. I don't read young adult. I don't read romance, at least not intentionally. I don't also reach for Westerns, but the Westerns, or a couple of Westerns I have read, were really good. So I would actually like to read more Western. That is actually a really small genre these days, but the ones I have read are really good, like Blood Meridian. That's an awesome book. What's yours?
Sci-fi and nonfiction. So sci-fi I'm starting to get into a little bit, and what I've read so far I really loved. But nonfiction I hardly ever get into at all. I find, I understand there's stories that need to be told and they should be read and understood, but it makes me kind of depressed, and especially in situations that I'm not able to control, so it makes me even more sadder. And when I read a book, I want to escape to a world that doesn't exist. So.
I mean, you can do that with all the fiction you read. Technically, none of those places exist, right?
Right, exactly.
You just don't like dystopias or depressing kind?
Well, nonfiction, are like usually what I've noticed about books that, have happened, so therefore it's depressing.
A popular or beloved character that you do not like?
Well, mine is, let me get it out here, is actually from this book, Clap When You Land. And it's actually both the main characters, their names. Their names are Camino and Yahaira. So those are the two main characters in this book. I actually really enjoyed this book in general, and the way it was written is almost like a poem form. See?
It's got like stanzas.
Yeah. But the thing is that the two characters, they are, okay, so another spoiler warning if you haven't read this book yet, but they are both sisters, but they live on the opposite sides of the world. And they both share the same father, but they don't even know each other. Nor do they know that their father has a whole other family on the other side of the world. But the mothers do.
He's setting up franchises.
Yeah, well, he dies in an airplane ride on the way to one side of the world. And because he dies, the daughters find out about each other. And just the way they act about that whole situation and the way they act towards each other and like everything, their actions and everything just annoyed the crap out of me. Made
Were
me
they
mad.
unrealistic or something?
Their reactions to the fact that they have a long lost sister they had no idea, and that their father had a whole family, I felt like, yeah, they didn't react the way I would see anyone react. And then their actions towards, like when they do finally meet up and they start talking to each other, like I just felt like, it was just like, that was not memorable, and that was the whole point of the book, was for them to meet up. And when they meet up, it's like, well, that went flat real fast. So, and I feel like it was just the characters. The book itself, the story, I liked, enjoyed immensely.
Oh boy, who did I not like? So I couldn't really think of a character, a beloved character that I didn't like. I thought of plenty of characters that I don't like, but since this has to do with books, I haven't read the book versions, so I can't say my answer, so I don't have an answer. Number 6, a popular author that you cannot seem to get into. I'll go first, and that is Stephen King.
Ugh.
What?
I was just reacting to the fact that you picked a very, very apparently loved author.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Hence the title.
I've tried to read and have read 4 or 5 books by him. I've read The Stand all the way through, the unabridged version, which is super unnecessarily long. That's why it's the unabridged version. I didn't know that, but I wanted to read the whole story the first time. Only time. And then I read The Mist all the way through, which I really enjoyed The Mist. And I tried reading this book. That's why I brought this book up, The Long Walk. I've tried reading this, I think, a couple of times. I tried reading... Anyway, I just can't get into him. I want to try reading a couple more books by him, particularly
the shorter ones.
Pet Sematary and Salem's Lot, the older stuff. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll update later on in another video in the future about Stephen King. But for now, I can't really get into him. It's hard.
So mine is actually Stephen Jones. And he has written The Only Good Indians. And he's also just recently came out with a book called My Heart is a Chainsaw. He's a horror book author, obviously, with My Heart is a Chainsaw. But he is someone that I've read both those books. I only have this book left over because we haven't gone to the used bookstore recently to turn in books, because that one I'm definitely getting rid of.
I may want to read that one before she gets rid of it. But like her, I've saw that book is highly recommended.
Yep, it is.
Maybe I'll read the first chapter or two and then go from there. Yeah.
I just feel like he is like his writing style is just not something I can get into. It's almost like it's all over the place. It's like the guy is coming up to you. He's really, really excited about telling you a story, but he also has ADHD, so he kind of goes off in Neverland sometimes and comes back to you and is like, okay, where was I again? Kind of attitude. And I just can't. Like, get to the damn point. Hurry up about it. Stop going off in rambles. I enjoyed My Heart is a Chainsaw a little bit more than the Indian one because it refers to a lot of 1980s horror movies. The main character is very, very addicted to horror movies. She knows anything and everything about them. So that when she like refers to that, or she's writing a book report, or not really a book report, but a report to her teacher, she refers to it a lot. So that part of the books I really enjoyed, but the actual story itself was not, especially the ending, was not at all something I was eager to finish. I'm done reading him. I had a couple of his that I wish listed, but I took all those off because I was done.
All right, the next question, question. Number 7, a popular book trope that you are tired of seeing.
So I said The Girl That Can Do It All. So, and also is a witch, replaced with a B, about everything. Like, you're supposed to, somehow everyone loves her, but I don't know how because her attitude stinks.
She's arrogant.
Well, she's arrogant, and she acts arrogant, but at the same time she thinks that she's no good. Like, I don't get it. Like, she's like, I don't know why I'm so good at this, and I don't know why everyone likes me, and but then she acts like a jerk. So I'm like, I don't know why either. Not only that, but then she's good at everything. She doesn't even need to be trained on anything. All of a sudden, she's just magically perfect. Like the chick from Star Wars movies, the ones that just came out.
Rey.
Like, yeah. Luke goes through a huge, like, training session.
Story arc.
Yeah. And she's just like, the very first movie, she's like, hey, let me move this with my mind. Because you can do that without even knowing that you're freaking have the force in you. Yeah, go right ahead.
With zero training.
Yeah.
She can do
That's annoying.
everything better right
like,
off the bat. Well, there's no character arc. There's no struggle. Rey doesn't struggle through any of the movies. She just knows how to do everything. She knows how to pilot a starship. She knows how to use the Force. She knows how to fight with a lightsaber better than anybody, even though she never had training.
I think I started something.
Yeah, but yeah, Rey sucks.
I
Those
didn't
movies
watch
suck.
all the movies because the first one annoyed me because of that reason, because I've also seen it in a lot in books.
The term is Mary Sue. She's a Mary Sue.
I don't like Mary Sue, whatever it's called. I don't like the
Tropes?
Mary Sue trope. It's too much.
The trope I am tired of seeing is like the awkward teenager or the gawky teenager that ends up being like a hero or whatever. I just think that's annoying.
Yeah.
Especially when there's like multiple of them in the story and they somehow like hit it off. That is completely unbelievable for me. Or the trope of like all attractive people.
There's no one at all.
No, that's not
even
a little bit.
To someone.
There's not. It's not even a little bit realistic. Everyone's like in perfect shape and attractive and
Six-pack
outgoing and
abs
witty, and that's just. It just pulls me out of the
because it's not real.
immersion of the book or even TV shows. I think TVs and movies are even worse about it these days. Especially the awkward teenager thing. Like the new Spider-Man movies, Peter is awkward but like funny and charming in a way, and very smart, of course. MJ, the new MJ, whether she's supposed to be, I've read that people say that she's not Mary Jane, she's a different MJ that also exists in the comics or something like that, but she's also awkward and gawky and smart. And like, I don't ever, it's not realistic at all for me, those two people like getting together in real life.
Number 8, a popular series that you have no interest in even starting, let alone reading it. So mine, I'm going to go with mine first. Mine is Nevernight. It's supposed to be about a chick going through assassin school. I was kind of interested in that because I like the whole assassin idea and chicks being assassins. That's awesome. I like that idea. But I watched a video, another booktuber who mentions it and how she hates it, and she goes on a huge rant about it, and I listened, obviously. And I was like, oh, why would anyone like this? So apparently there's like metaphors in there when they're talking about some guy that she finds handsome and he has a silverware smile. Like what
does
and
that
that's
mean?
every time he apparently is introduced. He is introduced as the guy with the silverware smile. I don't
Does he
know
have
what
like
that means.
metal teeth or something?
No. And then like when she talks about beauty, she says beautiful as a fresh suicide. What?
That doesn't make any sense.
Didn't know that was beautiful. So like, and then apparently because, you're going into this school, you have to be gorgeous and beautiful to be an assassin, a good one.
Did a TikToker write this book? That's
Well,
what
you
it
have to
sounds
be
like.
beautiful and gorgeous, right? So she has to go and get beautified. What's one of the things that she does to get beautified? She gets a tit job. These are teenagers, by the way. Teenagers getting a tit job. Great.
That's a good message to the
Yeah,
audience.
exactly. So no,
Probably teenagers.
we'll not be reading that book. So what do you got? Oh, you just don't like a young adult in general then, right? That was your answer.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. My years of being a teenager were, mostly filled with fun and all that. But I have zero interest in reliving someone's teenage years. It's just not something I'm interested in. But to name a specific series,
Percy Jackson.
yeah, but I may read that because it's the Greek gods or the Olympians or whatever. But
Hunger Games?
yeah, I don't have any interest in that. It seems like a very drug out battle royale series. Like I have the original battle royale.
Oh, say actually, that's
on
what
my
it-
wish list.
consider-
Oh wait, no, I think I have it on my to be read shelf. But that's a lot different than Hunger Games. So yeah, Hunger Games would probably be my answer. Or really, like she said, anything young adult. I just don't have any interest in it.
I'm trying to get him to read Harry Potter, and that's already a battle. So
Last one. Let's see. The saying always goes, the book is better than the movie. But what movie or TV show adaptation do you prefer more than the book?
So I've got two answers.
Oh, okay. Ladies first.
I Am Legend. I like the movie more so than the book.
This movie version has nothing to do with the book other than like vaguely mentioning the vampire things. He doesn't have a dog
Which I
in the
liked.
book. He doesn't find a
Makes him a more
woman
likable
and a child, which I get why they add those in so people will come and see the movie.
Then you haven't read the book recently because he does have a woman and child. Not while he's
Yeah, that's what I mean. He doesn't have to
battling.
like take care of them or whatever. And then to me, the vampires or whatever they are in this version are far more interesting than the ones you see on screen. And the CGI in the movie was terrible. Will Smith was the only thing that made that movie likable. Everything, and the dog. Everything else about that movie was just kind of like meh.
I don't like the book. I think that being in this guy's head for this long is not interesting enough. Nope. Not even a little bit. I know, but I did like the ending of this compared to the movie for sure.
Yeah,
I liked
it has a
lot
much better
more.
ending.
Yeah, but that's it. I did not find the book at all interesting. Not alone. I don't know if it's supposed to be scary with vampires in it, but it's not. And then I liked the movie a lot better because it makes him seem more, I don't know, human or human-esque. I don't know. With the dog, I like that part. And I like the vampires better. People said zombies, but I didn't see zombies in the movie. I didn't feel like that was a thing.
I think they say
feel like-
zombies because of the movie. Because in the book they're not zombies at all.
No, but that's what they say, that the movie
I think it even
represents
references.
zombies.
I think it even refers to the ones in the book as
Vampires.
But the one that attacks his
Or he
dog,
calls
that
them.
he like actually has like a one-on-one with, he is a vampire. He can't get in the sunlight. He sucks people's. I mean, I don't know.
in the book
In the movie,
Yeah,
I don't know. So anyway, I liked the movie better. And then Game of Thrones. Only to the point where he's obviously a huge, like George R. R. Martin is a big part of the show. Like,
well, when they're still going off of the books, you
yeah.
mean?
I feel like especially if you read and watched, you would know what I'm talking about. But the age situation in here, it's extremely hard to accept. So if you read the book first, you're like, oh God. But when I watched the series first, and then I decided, hey, that's what they always say, book's better than the movie. So I went ahead and started reading the series, and I was able to like cut out the whole, like, for instance, what's her name, the dragon lady? She's only 14 in here.
Daenerys.
Yeah, 13, no, 12, I don't remember. She's really young. She's getting raped by a grown-up man.
Yeah.
That's hard to read. But when you watch the series, she's obviously much old. I mean, they say she's younger, but she's obviously much older. So I pictured that when I'm reading.
Well, don't read American Psycho. I can tell you that.
Oh. So that's why I liked. I like them about the same, but I feel like they did the series did a good job of making me
Summarizing.
like the book more because of the age difference. So yeah.
Well, you can't put 12-year-olds on TV to get, you know.
Thank God.
Yeah. All right, mine is Sphere by Michael Crichton. I just think the film version, the movie, is better at, well, obviously it's better at visualizing what's happening in the text. But I don't know, I was kind of bored in some parts. I feel like this book could have been shorter. It's over 500 pages. And I think the movie version is just better because it's more easy to digest, and it pretty much hits all the same story beats of the book, and features some of the same elements as the novel. So I think the movie version is better. Yeah.
Just don't give anything away because I want to read it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's all the questions. So.
Yeah, it is.
If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, click the like button. That helps with the algorithm. If you guys
have any like recommendations and the things that we said we hardly grab, like romance and nonfiction, please tell us in the comments. That would be helpful.
Yeah, I'm definitely open to reading like very good young adult books or books that have young adult elements or whatever. I just don't want to waste my time with a snoozer like Ready Player One or something.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Here we go. All right. Well, anyway, thanks, guys. See you later.